Midsommar, 2019, rated R, 2 hours, 28 minutes. Arts, entertainment, and culture, eerie, frightening. Description: an American couple, their relationship floundering, travel to a fabled Swedish midsummer festival where they become trapped in a sinister nightmare. The most effective way I could come up with for how to review this film is to explain what happened from my own perspective, and ideally through that explanation I will be able to pull to the surface the observations I made about the film's spiritual and psychological meaning. This story begins far below the surface. Our character Danny is struggling to find a way to balance and ground herself emotionally, while also trying to explore the healthiest way to cope. There's an airplane overhead. Forgive me. To cope with her current relationships. There is an uncertainty about reality and where her control over ends and begins. She is worried that one day she may lose all control and never feel what it is like to be certain again. Then she experiences death. A major psychological transformation occurs and she realizes that nothing will ever be the same. Her relationship with her boyfriend, Christian, is the only connection we truly experience Danny having to the world outside of her grief. There are moments when Danny feels Christian doesn't take the time to see things from her perspective, but she won't hold him accountable due to a fear that if she acknowledges his lack of emotional sensitivity, he will abandon their relationship. So, she tends to suppress and sometimes invalidate her own feelings to prevent Christian from leaving. Danny shows moments of having clarity on the true nature of her relationship with Christian, but the moments are brief. Danny decides to go with Christian and his friends to Sweden, even though she is subject to experiencing triggers that happen to remind her of reasons to grieve. Those reasons being the death of her mother, father, and sister. As the audience, we get to see that anything relating to family can easily shift Danny's state of mind, and we witness this happen a numerous amount of times throughout the film. Okay. One of the very first things that I found appealing about this script is that the dialogue, the parts of a literary work, right, that represent conversation, the dialogue, is used to introduce, propose, prepare, and give context for the next scene or future events that will occur, which to me reflected a desire to be intentional with everything and expressed a sensitivity to the value of dialogue. I find that this stood out because it gave and allowed for time to process as the story continued to become more and more complex. The dialogue was professional, in my opinion, because it only related to the story, and the world of our characters, rather than be used for entertainment. I feel this film was written and directed in a way that had compassion for the audience and incorporated a greater understanding of the importance of the chosen lens the story is told through, and how that will be what influences how well the purpose of the work of art is received by the audience. When this film is observed with the intent of remaining humble, it has the ability to provide an experience that can liberate the observer from the fear of death. Death being defined as anything in the universe that is unknown to the observer. Fear of death being an impression of the unknown that denies, it's going to flip the page here, an impression of the unknown that denies it from having any possible way to create a desirable effect on reality, and stems from a belief that the unknown does not include anything practical. Therefore, deeming all that is unfamiliar illogical. What I find this film does successfully is explore the unknown in a way that aims to dismantle and clear any emotional or psychological blockages that prohibit the individual from experiencing proper growth. The story of our main character takes us on a journey that consistently suggests that the unknown must be approached with respect, to its potential to produce an outcome that can feel like rebirth.